Hi gang, Vicki from ENTRI here again. We're back looking at those same green dressers that I showed you the other day in the last video. I did these dressers each a little bit different because I wanted to compare how they would turn out. Now keep in mind that I sanded these down completely down to the bare wood. There were just a few spots on each one that I couldn't get the old finish off of. So I decided to use paint rather than stain because I knew I couldn't get. Oh, plus the wood was, there were different types of wood on this dresser and they wouldn't all stain the same. So I had to go with paint on it. It's unfortunate, I would have loved to save them and stain them, but the paint looks great too, I think. Okay, but I did them a little bit different. This tall dresser, I actually primed it because I thought I was gonna go with a white on these dressers and I would have had to use a bin primer on them to make sure I sealed in any bleed through, okay? That green one in the back, I didn't prime because when I got finished with this one, I decided I hated the white on this dresser. Usually I love a white dresser, but it just wasn't hitting me right. These dressers were just saying I need to be a dark color. So after priming, I then proceeded to paint. This dresser took 2 coats of latex paint. I happened to use a Benjamin Moore in a pearl finish. It was just a basic latex paint, came out beautiful. Covered really well, only took 2 coats to cover, no bleed through of any of the wood, came out perfect. This one is the one I primed, okay? This took 3 coats to cover it up because now I'm covering up the white, all right? But it also covered really well, but only after the 3rd coat. Both paints adhered really well. There's no problem whatsoever with adhesion, okay? Both paints have the same pearl sheen on them, which I happen to love. It's the first time I've used this sheen. I am gonna put a clay coat on it just to protect the paint. I think that's still really important because paint does chip. It is a painted piece. So I'm gonna put a clear coat on in a low luster kind of a finish. But I do love this pearl finish. It's very, very low sheen, really nice. But other than that, like, because the paint adhered so well, it was both a paint and primer in one, and because I sanded them down to the bare wood, I really don't see that I needed the primer in this case because I was going with a dark color. If I were going with a light color, I would have needed the primer. It would have had to, I would have needed it to prevent bleed through using the bin shellac primer. But because I was going with a dark color and I was using a paint plus a primer and I was painting on bare wood, all of those situations, and I did not really need the primer and I would have saved myself an entire paint layer on this taller dresser. All right, that's just to compare. I wanted to compare with and without primer and we got similar results. So might as well save ourselves a step. Now that's as long as you sand down to the bare wood. If you were going to leave any of that glossy finish on there, you would have needed the primer for the adhesion. Okay, that's a whole nother video. All right, hope that helps. Take care, bye.